We begin with the breaking news. A history-making verdict. For the first time ever, a former president has been tried for felonies and found guilty. Donald John Trump, guilty on all 34 counts.
Cheers went up outside the New York courtroom as word of the guilty verdicts came out. Minutes later, the former president railed against the entire trial.
This was a rigged, disgraceful trial.
Former President Donald Trump is now a convicted felon. Good evening. I'm Russ Spencer.
I'm Courtney Bryant. The verdict came in just about an hour ago. That New York jury found the former president guilty on all 34 charges he faced in his hush money trial.
Fox 5 anchor Christine Spiro is here with all the details on this breaking story tonight.
And truly a historic day, Courtney and Russ. Donald Trump became the first former president ever to be convicted of felony crimes. A New York jury found him guilty of falsifying business records and a scheme to illegally influence the 2016 election through hush money payments to a porn actor who said the two had sex. Jurors deliberated for 9.5 hours over the course of 2 days before convicting him of all 34 counts. The former president sat stone-faced as the verdict was being read, but he had a lot to say to reporters as he walked out of the courtroom.
This was a disgrace. This was a rigged trial by a conflicted judge who was corrupt. It's a rigged trial, a disgrace. They wouldn't give us a venue change. We were at 5% or 6% in this district, in this area. This was a rigged, disgraceful trial. The real verdict is going to be November 5th by the people. And they know what happened here, and everybody knows what happened here. You have a Soros-backed DA, and the whole thing. We didn't do a thing wrong. I'm a very innocent man, and it's okay. I'm fighting for our country. I'm fighting for our Constitution. Our whole country is being rigged right now. This was done by the Biden administration in order to wound or hurt an opponent, a political opponent. And I think it's just a disgrace. And we'll keep fighting. We'll fight till the end and we'll win. Because our country's gone to hell. We don't have the same country anymore. We have a divided mess. We're a nation in decline, serious decline. We have a country that's in big trouble. But this was a rigged decision right from day one with a conflicted judge who should have never been allowed to try this case. Never. And we will fight for our Constitution. This is long from over. Thank you very much.
Now, the former president is expected to quickly appeal this verdict and will face an awkward dynamic as he seeks to return to the campaign trail as a convicted felon. There are no campaign rallies on the calendar for now. Now, the Biden-Harris campaign has since issued a statement saying, in part, in New York today, we saw that no one is above the law. Donald Trump has always mistakenly believed he would never face consequences for breaking the law for his own personal gain. But today's verdict does not change the fact that the American people face a simple reality. There is still only one way to keep Donald Trump out of the Oval Office: at the ballot box. Convicted felon or not, Trump will be the Republican nominee for president. Again, that from the Biden-Harris campaign. Now, Judge Juan Merchan, who oversaw the case, set sentencing for July 11th, which is days before the Republican National Convention in Milwaukee. The falsifying business records charges carry up to 4 years behind bars, but prosecutors have not said whether they intend to seek prison time for these charges.
Yeah.
As you say, history made today, but the former president made it clear that in his estimation, the final verdict is in the hands of the American people on November 5th.
Yeah, and you know, he has been saying, you heard him say, well, this is rigged, this is a disgrace. He said that even before the case went to trial. So, you know, yes, like you said, he's saying the real verdict in his eyes is the general election.
And it'll be interesting to see how people react. I'm sure that's going to show in the poll numbers that start to come out maybe next week.
It will be interesting to see what those numbers will be now.
Yeah, and there will be an appeal, but that won't be settled for months or perhaps longer than that.
Right.
We'll see what happens. Christine, thanks so much. Former President Trump, of course, faces 3 other felony indictments, but this New York case may be the only one to reach a conclusion before the November election. In Florida, the former president is charged with 40 counts stemming from his alleged mishandling of sensitive government records after leaving the White House. The two other cases are local charges here in Atlanta and federal charges in Washington, D.C. that he conspired to undo the 2020 election results. A Fulton County grand jury indicted Mr. Trump and 18 allies last August in a sprawling racketeering case stemming from an alleged scheme to overturn the results of the 2020 presidential election in Georgia.